Listen. We're just gonna be talking about the art style, nothing about the anime or the story. As of this recording, I think I'm like only halfway through the season. So for those that are actually caught up with the anime and even further down the story with the manga, yeah, let's enjoy the video. Okay. Jujutsu Kaisen. There's something about this art style. Even though the animators at MAPPA are cooking up anime styles that look similar, I mean it's one studio, they have to. Jujutsu Kaisen's art style stands out in a way that makes the anime unique, you know? Other than the story, of course. What up YouTube, it's your boy Double M and I'm coming back at you with one more video before the end of 2023. Hope you guys enjoyed your Christmas. Hope you guys got to spend time with your friends, family and loved ones. In this video, we're gonna break down the art style of Jujutsu Kaisen. One thing about an art style is it stands out from reality. Let's say you have an artist that draws a tiger. You can tell that it's not 100% anatomically correct, but you can still tell that they drew a tiger, you know? It's an artist's interpretation of something. Usually the artists with the good art styles are ones that have mastered the fundamentals or have a good level of fundamental work and are playing around, breaking the rules to come up with something that is visually appealing. Now the man responsible for the Jujutsu Kaisen art style is Tadashi Hiramatsu. You may have seen his other works like Neon Genesis Evangelion. There's something about the character design in Jujutsu Kaisen. Let's break down how Tadashi draws these characters in this art style. If we look closely at the characters, the way Tadashi draws the characters, the rough shape that's usually drawn for their eyes, either a square or a rectangle, a rough four-sided shape, but the sides are not exactly straight, they still have a little curve to it. But when it actually comes to drawing the eye, the top eyelash, the part where it's closer to the bridge of the nose, should show an important corner. There's a visible important corner that should be in the top eyelash. Coming from that corner on that same eyelash, the sides are usually straight. The other eyelash, the bottom eyelash, is the one that has more of a curve. It doesn't really matter as long as it's a normal eye. Now, the person in real life might have more of a circular eye, or the person in real life might have more of a longer eye. As long as the top eyelash has that important corner closer to the bridge of the nose, the rest of that eyelash is straight, and the bottom eyelash has more of that curve near the other end of the eye. Now, when it comes to the head is actually anatomically correct. It's just the other things on the head that stand out with a bit more definition, you know. The chin and the jawline, that one stands out with more definition. That one is more pronounced with this angles. You can see the jaw is very angled. When it comes to the ears, only in the front view, the ears, you can see how they are flared out just slightly more than they would be in real life, you know. The ears in the front view are slightly flared out a bit more. And the nose itself, the way it's constructed, the way it's drawn in this art style, it slightly pokes out a bit. The bridge of the nose has this slight curve that makes the overall nose, that makes the whole nose poke out a bit, which is especially visible in the side view. For the front view, you're not going to see the nose poke out, you're just going to draw two nostrils. Now the same thing for the female head, it's just that things are slightly smaller and less angled, especially the jaw. You have less angle definition and the chin can sometimes be even sharper, but you still have somewhat definition. Ears and nose are a bit smaller but still poke out and are flared out the same way they would be in a male head. Now the hair in Jujutsu Kaisen is also accurate most of the time. In most animes, large untidy hair will usually be drawn in these rough groups, in these rough shapes. Sometimes it can be to make the animation process a little bit easier, but most of the time it's a stylization choice, it's a style choice. Not in Jujutsu Kaisen. Loose untied hair, you can really see the separation in the spikes, you know. Loose untied, it's important to clarify untied. Tied hair will still show the group, will still be drawn with a rough shape to show the group of the tied hair. But if it's loose and untied, you can really see the separation in the hair with these multiple spikes, with these multiple strands. And these multiple spikes, like the bridge of the nose, will also be curved upwards. Long hair, short hair, it will always be curved upwards. Now when it comes to characters that have long hair or straight hair, because of the amount of hair and because of the type of hair, it will make its own groups because it's straight hair. But when it comes to the type of hair and the hairstyles like Megumi, you can really see the separation in the spikes that makes these loose hair, these loose untied hairstyles, loose and untied. When it comes to the rest of the body is anatomically accurate, you know. Other than the hands that are drawn slightly bigger, not that much, slightly bigger, the rest of the body is still anatomically correct. Let's look at the design of the characters, right? Because most of these characters are students in a high school, most of these characters are going to be wearing uniform, usually a jacket and a pants, a two-piece uniform. Now the variations in the uniform are going to depend from character to character. Some characters will be wearing the same or similar uniform. Other characters will be wearing their own thing, but it's usually a two-piece uniform, a black or purple two-piece uniform. The one thing that's always going to be different in these designs is the pair of shoes. They're always going to be wearing different pairs of shoes. That's if the character is in high school. If they're not part of the high school, or if they're not a high school character, they can really be wearing anything. It's either something that would be worn in modern time Japan or modern time Tokyo, or it's something that would be worn in the past, like in old time Tokyo, in old time Japan. These large fabrics, almost closer to a kimono or almost closer to something a samurai in the olden times would wear. It's either modern time or old time. If your character is still involved in the story but is not exactly a student in the high school. Now when it comes to the line art and the line weight, in the anime, it's kept pretty consistent, doesn't really have that much line weight. More line weight will be shown, more line weight will be flexed in the illustration and in the posters for the actual anime, with a little bit of hatching detail wherever needed. Usually, most of the time, the hatching detail is shown on the hands. So you have a lot of line weight, not a lot, but much more line weight and hatching shown in the illustration and posters compared to the anime where it's much more consistent. But one thing that will have the line weight and the hatching both in the anime and in the posters and illustration are the curses and the curse techniques and the curse manipulation. These ones will always have the line weight with the hatching detail wherever needed to show that abnormality. When it comes to the values and the color theory, it's kept pretty simple like many other anime. Your basic flats, your basic shadows, and your basic highlights. Basic cell shading. More detail will come in the line weight with more hatching or maybe a little more line weight. Now because this is MAPPA we're talking about, top tier animation, they're not afraid to flex their good gesture poses in their characters and their good perspective in the animation. Now you see, pointing these things out is one thing, but it's not enough. So I decided to do a one-on-one study with one of the illustration posters for Jujutsu Kaisen to see if the things that I pointed out really make the Jujutsu Kaisen art style the Jujutsu Kaisen art style. Now looking at it, I wouldn't really say it's an exact copy. I wouldn't really say it's a carbon copy, but it's pretty close, you know. It's a good start. I think doing more of these one-on-one studies with more illustrations and even from the animation should bring you closer to the art style. But if you think there are some things that I did leave out, let me know down in the comments. While you're down there, make sure to drop a like if you're enjoying the video so far. And if you have not, make sure to hit the subscribe button to join, to become part of the Double Empire. 2024 is close and we're about to hit 1,000. Let's get to 1,000 before we get to 2024. Now, I really wanted to put my knowledge to the test to see if I really knew what made the Jujutsu Kaisen art style, I did the one-on-one study, but I didn't feel that was enough. So I decided, let me draw myself, my character, in the art style of Jujutsu Kaisen with some illustration type thing. Now, I'd say the first step was designing the character, which I'd say was the most difficult part, honestly. So the goal for this character was to have a character be part of the story, be part of the anime. I wanted the character to be a student, but also stand out with his own design. So I pulled a few things from the other existing characters and added things of my own, like the forces and the mask. The mask is straight. You guys understand? For this illustration, I wanted to have midst battle vibe. The character is in the middle of battle, so we have the mask that is broken and we have the blade that has the curse powers. But I also wanted to give myself a curse, like Megumi has those two wolves. I wanted to give myself a tiger-like curse that sort of goes in with the mask. The mask is trademark, you guys have to understand. Now looking at the end result, I say there's still some things that I missed, but it kind of looks pretty convincing. Now, don't be surprised if you see this character in an episode. I'm just kidding. Or am I? Now, looking at the illustration and looking at the things that we've pointed out, I feel like we have pointed out what makes the Jujutsu Kaisen art style the Jujutsu Kaisen art style. Now, we're not going to be able to make an exact carbon copy of the art style, but I feel like looking at what makes the Jujutsu Kaisen art style what it is and doing more one-on-one studies and more illustrations like this should bring you very close to understanding and drawing with the Jujutsu Kaisen art style, understanding and analyzing the art style. So I want to thank you guys for watching this video, and if you enjoyed the video, again, make sure to drop that like. And if you want to see me break down another art style like I broke down Jujutsu Kaisen in this video, let me know down in the comments. God bless, and until next time, double M out.